10 people so far lost their lives at Travis Scott's fatal Astroworld Music Festival in Houston, Texas. Now, also joining us is Thomas J. Henry, an attorney based in Houston, who is representing close to 200 attendees at this festival. Where do you think the primary focus should be in terms of responsibility here? What needs to be fixed?
I think the first thing that needs to be fixed is the size of crowds that go into these events, number one. Number two, the second thing that needs to be repaired is the communication and understanding when an event like this is unfolding, when to make the decision to call the event and shut it down.
Yeah. Now, this event, they sold 50,000 tickets, is what I understand, and this was an outdoor event. Madeline, Thomas is pointing out an absence of communication and infrastructure. There weren't things in place to handle people in distress that should have been in place, correct? There wasn't necessary equipment and personnel to handle what could happen out of 50,000 people.
We had one where I was at, I can only speak for what I saw, but where I was at, we had 3, then 4, then 5 people in cardiac arrest. We had 1 defibrillator, 1 stretcher, and 1 bag valve mask.
Do they not have guidelines for these things, Thomas, Richard? What?
Yeah, there are guidelines. There's ANSI guidelines. That's a professional organization that sets out guidelines and how you set up crowds, crowd control. Astroworld, as you showed the group here, had a procedure in place on how to deal with a protocol when there are problems that unravel. So we saw the mass event being called 38 minutes before the show ended, and we see that there's zero communication about what to do when you call the mass event. In other words, we have a mass event, turn the lights on, shut it down. None of those procedures that you see call for that. And that's the problem with the way these events are being put on.
This has happened in the music industry in our generation. So, I mean, this isn't like, oh, wow, didn't see this coming. This has happened. We have seen this occur.
Well, I mean, and not only that, you have a crowd that is going to be provided alcohol. Some of these crowds, they're using drugs. We heard about that. It is a perfect storm to have a catastrophe. And so it's foreseeable. It's been going on for years since Woodstock. And the policies and procedures that are in place right now, they're just not sufficient. And these organizers know it. They've seen it for years.
You say some of your clients were actually stepping over dead bodies.
Yes. Yeah, we have a number of people I represent. It's actually over 300. And
over 300?
Over 300, probably 400 by the end of the day. And we have photographs of their clothing where they're trampled on. You know, we saw some of the other pictures of his outfit with the blood on it. Just a horrific event with people that are in total chaos with nowhere to go.
Isn't there a way for fail-safe to turn the lights on, cut the power? If you turn that mic off, you're done, right? You cut the power to the stage. Right. Somebody has to have the lever. Boom.
Exactly. Well, you know, you're begging the question, why didn't someone pull the lever? And, you know, when you start looking at how easy it is to shut down the event and how obvious it was that there were problems, you have to ask yourself, why wait? Because it doesn't make any sense that someone just didn't stop the concert and
Right.
turn on the lights.
Drake came on after this was already unfolding.
I think Drake came on like 45 minutes after, at least.
So after it was known that people had lost their lives, they still brought on a special guest.
I was literally holding kids in the crowd, like trying to pick them up off the ground, and everyone else around me was just dancing and partying. And I'm trying to pull these kids off the ground. This kid's eyes rolled to the back of his head.
I had a similar experience.
And there's like 5 or 6 other
People
kids
are
around.
recording the concert and recording me doing CPR, recording others doing CPR, then going back to recording
Like,
the
there
concert.
needs to be a talk about this. We need to turn it into a positive thing and raise more awareness for these kids, because you don't want your kid going to a show like this in the future.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.